It's an effort to just say, have a great, I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know what to say, really.
I had to start the video off with that because it's not very often that Kody Brown doesn't know what to say. You guys know I'm convinced that he actually plans out what he's going to say during the confessionals, but here he is in the car, stumped when it comes to what he's going to say to Janelle during his apology visit. And if you're wondering what is on the screen right now, you guys, you have definitely missed what's going on with social media. This is what TLC has put out for the next few episodes of Sister Wives. They're calling it the Apology Tour. They have tour dates. They tell where he's going to be, who he's going to be talking to, and I absolutely love it. Whoever did this was genius. This is hilarious to me. But before we see the Apology Tour episodes, we have to talk about last night's episode. It is season 20, episode 10, and it's titled Extending the Olive Branch. First of all, I want to talk about Christine and David, not because anything super exciting happened with them, but because we got to see Isabel, and I was really excited to see her on the show. I feel like after the whole thing happened with her and the surgery, there is just a part of me that needs to occasionally, okay, I don't need to, but I want to occasionally hear that she's doing well in life and that she's okay. Do you guys feel that way? Do you ever see kids on a show and go, I'm going to need some updates and I'm going to need to hear that their life went well? Because I felt like we saw her and she was so sad and it was really heartbreaking, and now I want to know that she's living a good life. So I occasionally like to have an update. That's it, you guys. Anyway, we see her going bowling with David, Christine, and Truly. Even though there wasn't a lot that happened with Christine, David, Truly, and Isabel in this episode, I enjoyed watching them all interact with each other. According to Isabel, David is wonderful, and he does a great job of sort of respecting the role that he has in their lives. He doesn't try to overstep. He understands that he's not dad. He's not Kody. He's the stepdad. He's their mom's husband. And he seems to do a good job of sort of staying in that lane and then being a positive person in their lives. We also got a glimpse at Truly and David's relationship. It seems to be very playful and fun. And all I could think when I was watching it was, we didn't ever see Kody go with Christine and their children to go bowling or go do fun things one-on-one. That just wasn't the way the family was. But here the kids are with Christine going bowling. It wasn't all the kids. It was just Truly and Isabel. But this is something we wouldn't have witnessed with Kody. Isabel does a confessional and she talks about how wonderful David is. And then she also talks about her own relationship with Kody. I'm going to put that clip in here.
My dad and I do not talk very often. No. Yeah.
It just breaks my heart. And I don't know why I am this way, but, you know, there's a lot of Brown kids, but 4 of them specifically make me sad when they talk about their relationship with Kody. And it was Isabel, Savannah, which she didn't really say a lot, but knowing she was in Flagstaff and he didn't go visit her at Christmas, for whatever reason, that just made me furious. I know that there were other kids he didn't see, but for whatever reason, I just have a soft spot for Savannah. Then also, I said Isabel. Oh, Gabriel and Garrison. When they used to talk, you know, back in season like 17, 18, those would always break my heart. Isabel talks a little bit more and then she says that she isn't super close with Kody, but he is still her dad and she still loves him. But that was really it for Christine and David. Let's go ahead and talk about Mary. We see her at home talking to her friend Amber, and we find out that they have been wanting to go to Vegas. So Mary decides to plan this trip and she registers them for a dating event. And this dating event is really for people over the age of 40. And I just want to stop here and say, I like Jen a lot, but I do also like having a new friend in here because she is single as well. Amber is single, so we sort of have someone who's going to be doing these things with Mary instead of just cheering her on from the side. So we're seeing Amber and Mary talk about this dating event, and then eventually they start talking about their past relationships. And Mary talks about how unhealthy hers was with Kody. I'm going to put the clip in here so you guys can hear it.
Like, I never knew if or when I was going to have any attention.
Yeah.
And so I never knew what to expect, and I don't want to feel like that.
Yeah.
Now, I want to give a little bit of context about that clip so that it makes more sense in case you missed it. Amber and Mary are talking about meeting someone and dating, and Amber's saying she doesn't want a boring relationship. Mary's kind of like, hey, I don't want it boring, but I want it calm because my relationship with Kody was a roller coaster. She never knew what she was going to get from him. So she could have the butterfly feelings, but she didn't know if she was going to get attention or affection. And all I could think was, she was married to that man for 32 years. She was hanging on to these little moments that were good when most of the time she had no idea what she was going to get from him. I bet she feels so free now just to wake up and know where you stand in your life and know where you stand with the people that you've brought into your life has to be an amazing feeling after so many years of not knowing where you stand with your husband. Later in the episode, we see Amber and Mary in Vegas. They are at their hotel getting ready for the dating event. You guys, I really liked it when Amber asked Mary if she would date someone named Kody or if she would date a polygamist. Based on what Mary said, that would be an absolute no. She is done with polygamy and Kody's. She is done with that. She also brings up that she wouldn't date someone named David because David is Christine's husband and she just doesn't want to date someone with that same name. She says she's happy for Christine and happy that Christine has a David, but she doesn't want her own David. And I just thought that whole part of it was really funny. Later in the episode, we see them talking about what it's going to be like when they start dating. And they talk about how their past relationships might impact dating again. And Mary says that she has an issue with how Kody did not communicate the end of their marriage with her. And we know that happened on the show. Kody was saying one thing to the audience. He was saying one thing during confessionals, but treating Mary very differently. So she would learn stuff about their relationship from the show, which had to be absolutely devastating. So Mary says she has a problem with that. She also talks about how she feels like so much of her life was a lie.
Is this you? Is this real you? Are you going to change your mind later? Are you going to lie about it later? That was like a 30-year experience.
You guys, I'm going to be honest. I had never given a lot of thought as to what it might be like for Mary to date again. But if you think about it, she was married for 30 years to a man she thought she loved and he was in love with her. Then he goes publicly and tells everyone he never loved her. He said really horrible things about their marriage. And then he strung her along for his ego, for the show, to make money. It's going to make her have to overcome a lot of things, a lot of insecurities, a lot of self-doubt. It would be difficult to believe someone if they came to you and said they loved you after your experience with a man like Kody Brown. And she brings up, when she's talking about all of this, she brings up how she didn't like how he communicated the end of their marriage. He said a lot of terrible things. And that leads me to talking about Kody and Robin. Because according to Kody, in this episode, he tells us one of the things that he regrets is that he said that he never loved them. Let's go ahead and talk about those two, because nothing else really happens with Mary. That is where she ends. We start off in this episode by seeing Kody and Robin at the same restaurant that we have seen them in several times this season. If you guys live in the area, let me know where they're going to eat, because if I'm ever out there, I might have to go there. They seem to be going back again and again, so it must be pretty good. They sit down and they start talking, and Kody tells Robin that he has this idea of going to apologize to the original wives. And what got me about this apology wasn't that he wants to do it, because he needs to apologize. He needs to apologize to his ex-wives, his kids. He has a lot of apologizing to do. But what surprised me was the reason that he wants to do it. Let me put the clip in here so that you guys can hear it.
I want to set him free, just get him to stop thinking, talking, being about me.
He wants to set them free, you guys. He wants them to stop thinking about him and talking about him. First of all, that is not going to work out well for Kody, because if they stop talking about him completely, this show is going to end. In order for this show to continue on being sister wives the way it is and the way we know it, there has to be some sort of connection, even if it's talking about the relationships the kids have with Kody. The idea that they're just going to be free from each other means that Kody and Robin might have to go get jobs. And honestly, saying you want to apologize to someone just so they quit talking about you or thinking about you doesn't feel like the most sincere reason or good reason to go and apologize to someone. I'm just saying, when it comes to all of this and his reasoning, if he really truly wants freedom from Christine, Janelle, and Mary, I think they need to leave the show. And I think Janelle, Christine, and Mary will do absolutely fine when the show ends. I think they can continue on with social media. I think they'll do fine. I think people would like to watch them. Will they make as much money as they would make on Sister Wives? I don't actually know. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. But I do think Kody and Robin would struggle a lot more, because Robin would struggle with being on social media. She would have to have more of a backbone than she has, or she would be crying all of the time, and no one wants to watch that. So Kody and Robin need to think about being free from the other three. So they're sitting in this restaurant. Kody tells Robin this idea that he has to go and apologize to everyone, and then he waits. He is definitely wanting to hear what Robin thinks about all of this, and Robin is not going to give him any sort of response, not right away, because she says that she can influence him. She can influence him to do something positive or to do something negative. It can go either way, and she is staying out of it. This is Kody's thing, and he needs to be accountable for how it turns out. She is not going to be in any way accused of pushing him to do it or not to do it, and I think that's a smart move. I think Robin has a big impact on Kody. She should sit this one out. I would if I was in her shoes. When Robin is talking, she does bring up one issue that Kody has, and, well, I'm going to throw the clip in so that you guys can see it.
He says a lot of things that may not even happen, so...
First of all, I think she's right. I think Kody says a lot of things and they don't happen. But that's not actually what I want to focus on. I want to focus on Robin herself. You guys, I feel like this season we've gotten more from Robin than we did in the past. And I think a huge part of it, specifically these last few seasons, not earlier seasons. These last few, it's been like we're so focused on Mary, Janelle, and Christine that Robin was sort of at the side. A lot of us blamed her for some of the stuff that went down, but she wasn't a main character anymore, at least not to me. I felt like I was focused on the original three and Kody. But this season, we're getting to see some more of her again, where we're really seeing their relationship, and I think Kody annoys the crap out of her. I don't know if it was always that way, but I feel like now that he's so over the top with being affectionate and being romantic on camera, I think she's gotten annoyed with him. I also can see here that she realizes how she influences him, and a part of me wonders if she realized how strong that influence was before, or she's just now realizing it because of all of the accusations that people have been making. Because like Janelle and Christine have been very open about the fact that Kody would go and see Robin and then change his mind about things. She was able to change his opinion. You know, it's really a shame she didn't stay out of everyone else's business earlier. Some of these marriages might have lasted, or at the very least, Mary and Kody's marriage might have ended a lot earlier, but she didn't stay out of things back then because she thought she could speak Kody. But it seems like now she's realizing she has a negative impact sometimes. So Robin and Kody are talking, and, you know, Cody's really trying to get Robin's opinion out of her, and then he asks her, do you think this is dumb or foolish? And she says, no, it's never a bad idea to apologize to someone if you've done something wrong to them. But here's my thing. I think Kody is looking for something, and I don't know that he's going to get it from Janelle, Mary, or Christine, and they don't owe him anything. So it's not up to them to make him feel better for what he has done to them. So do I think it's foolish or dumb? No. Do I think he's going to get what he wants from them? Also no. Do I think that's bad? No. They don't owe him anything. Do I think it makes good television and extends this season by a few more episodes? I absolutely do. Do I think TLC is going to drag this on? Sure do. Absolutely. So we're going to go see Kody apologize. There is one more thing I want to point out about Kody apologizing, and it is something that he says. I'm going to put the clip in here. This is him talking about why or what he will apologize for.
I don't want to apologize for what I've been accused of. I want to apologize for what I know I've done.
When it comes to deciding who I believe, whether it's the ex-wives or Kody, I typically believe the ex-wives because I know Kody will rewrite history and he just seems to struggle a lot with accuracy. But when it comes to giving an apology, I think Kody's right. He shouldn't apologize for things that they've accused him of, but he doesn't believe that he did. A real apology comes when you feel guilty, when you feel like you need to say sorry, when you feel that sort of sense of shame that comes from something you've done and you want to try to make it better or make it right for the other person. If Kody doesn't believe that he did those things, he shouldn't apologize for them. So what does Kody want to apologize for? He wants to apologize for a few things, but one of the things is that he said that he never loved Mary, Janelle, and Christine. He says that's something he said in anger and it wasn't true, and he wants to apologize for that. So that's sort of how it circles back to Mary and how I led into Kody and Robin. You know, Mary was telling Amber she felt like this 30-year marriage was a lie. She doesn't know if he ever loved her. So Kody tells Robin that he wants to apologize for saying that, and then we get a confessional from Robin, and she talks about how she felt like she really didn't know Kody when he said that. She felt like she didn't know who he was because when she got married to him, she believed that he really loved his wives. And she also points out that Kody didn't realize the damage he did to his ex-wives or his kids when he said that. When we hear from Kody, he says during the confessional that he was just saying things because he was hurt and he really didn't mean that, and he didn't realize the amount of damage that he was doing and how much he was going to hurt everyone else. So we have that part of the show, and then later at the end we see Kody driving to see Janelle, and we find out that he's meeting with her first because his heart is just not in a place where he feels he can go and speak to Mary and Christine. He says there's less to forgive Janelle for, so it's easier to go to her and ask for forgiveness. I have to admit that I do find it kind of amusing that Kody believes he needs to forgive them for anything. I don't think he realizes that most women would have not stuck by him as long as they did. He didn't help around the house. He wasn't romantic. He wasn't affectionate. He didn't want to see the kids. He didn't really want to parent. He didn't seem to help with finances. He doesn't realize that most people would have already left. Honestly, their marriages were over way before they announced that their marriages were over. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to talking about Janelle. We start off seeing Janelle in New Orleans. She's still there with her friends on that girls' trip. They're eating dinner. We get to hear a bit about how she became a polygamist, what the early years were like. She talks about how she was so idealistic and she thought everything was going to be perfect, but she quickly realized that that's not how it was going to be because her and Mary just didn't get along. During this part of the show, one of the friends asks her if she would ever be interested in going to counseling with Kody and Robin to try to fix things. And this is what Janelle says.
Would you ever go to counseling with Kody and Robin to try to fix anything?
I just wanted to throw that in there because I really like Janelle's frankness when it comes to her relationship with Kody and her relationship with Robin. We've heard it again and again. She doesn't like them. She's not friends with them. She doesn't really want to talk to him anymore. She has moved on. And since we're talking about moving on, we need to talk about the spiritual release. It is brought up again in this episode. It seems like Janelle is leaning toward doing it. Good for her. We know this is something that she had an issue with. She felt like there was still a tie there. So she's talking to her friends about it. And then she says this.
If my religion is right and I wake up and I'm in heaven and I'm married to him,
And what if she wakes up and it's
happen?
not just that Kody is there and she's married to him, but that he's also still married to Robin and they're all there together? Or I have a feeling one of you is going to be like, that's not how it works. They're going to wake up and they're going to have their separate planets or something. I remember there's something involving a planet or more than one planet. I don't care. There's no reason. There's no reason. Even if you're on separate planets, what if you're neighboring planets, Kody and Robin? go ahead and pursue that spiritual release. There's no reason to have your neighboring planet be Kody and Robin Brown. After this, we see Janelle back in North Carolina. She is at Maddie and Caleb's house, and she tells Maddie that Kody has reached out to her and wants to get together. And so there's a bit of discussion about why he's wanting to do this, which is natural. Like, if all of a sudden your ex calls you, you're going to be like, why are you calling me? Maddie basically says Kody is trying to weasel his way back into Janelle's life. That's not actually the word she used, but basically, Maddie points out that there's no reason to contact her. Everything's done. The property is sold. There's no reason for Kody to call her, but now he's trying to get back in her life. Janelle talks about how she doesn't have any interest in having a friendship with Kody. And she actually flat out just says, we're not friends. But she does realize that they're still children. There's still a family connection there. And there are issues. There are relationships that could be better. She talks to Maddie about it. She says, what would it take to have him back in your life? And Maddie says she would like to work on closure, reconciliation, or forgiveness. But as far as him coming back into her life and having a presence, that would take consistency. And by consistency, she is talking about regular contact, regular phone calls, seeing his grandkids on a regular basis. And we know Kody has a difficult time with that. He's not good at communicating with people. He wants everyone to come to him. He doesn't seem to know how to pick up the phone and make those phone calls. And to me, it's just wild, you guys. It's 2025. Between social media, texting, cell phones, it's very difficult to have a good excuse to not contact your kids. Unless it's something where you're out of the country or in a place where there's no Wi-Fi. There's a lot of ways to communicate, and Kody just doesn't have any good excuses. So I can completely understand Maddie's take on this. She doesn't want her kids having a grandpa that only shows up like every other year for something. She's wanting him to either be in her life or not be in it. So I can understand why she's like, we might work on closure. Maybe just putting an end to it all and forgiving him and moving on is the best thing for her. We do find out while Maddie and Janelle are talking that Kody had reached out to her on the anniversary of Garrison's passing. Honestly, you guys, that surprises me. I'm really surprised that he did it, but it's good that he did. She says that she didn't reach out to him because she thought it might be weird. I can understand both sides, but I'm truly surprised that Kody called her. But maybe he's starting to realize that he has made a lot of mistakes, and maybe he is trying to do better. Maybe. Because we also hear in this episode that he doesn't contact Isabel that much. So see, that's always how it is with him. You have one moment where you're like, he's going to get better. He sees that he's doing stuff he shouldn't be doing or saying rude things, and then he just goes and you remember something awful that he did. During all of this, Janelle does talk a little bit about Robin. She says she has no interest in seeing her. Just no interest at all in seeing Robin. But she'll sit down with Kody if he wants to. And I just wanted to throw that in there because, again, I appreciate the fact that Janelle is so frank about how she feels about the two of them. She's just like, nah, I don't like them. We're not friends. And I'm like, that's all we need to know. She's made it perfectly clear how she feels. All right, you guys, that's pretty much all of the recap for this episode, but I do want to give you a prediction, and I want you to let me know down in the comments what you think. How is everything going to go down with Janelle? This is my theory. Janelle is going to be friendly. She's going to be, friendly, civil, polite, all of that stuff, but she's not going to go out of her way to give him some big emotional moment, and I think he might be looking for that. I think she's over this. She's had no problem letting us know that they're not friends and she doesn't really like him. So she's not worried about what Kody needs anymore. If he needs to work on something, I think she's like, go, do that in therapy. She's going to listen to him, but I don't think we're going to get some super emotional moment from her the way we might from Mary. I think Mary could have something stirred up and get a little bit emotional, but I think we're not going to be having that with Janelle. But you guys can let me know what you think is going to happen down in the comments. There is one more thing I want you to leave down in the comments, and that is your Christmas list for the Browns. If you can think of something you want Santa to drop off at Christine, Janelle's, Mary's, Kody, and Robin's, let me know what it is. Who do you think should get the gift? What is it? And why do you think they need it? I've made a video about our Santa letter for the Browns. I think every year since I've started the channel. It's one of my favorite things to do because it's just so fun. I know so many of you have a great sense of humor and your comments are fantastic. So yes, let me know, what do we think the ex-wives, the new wife, not the new wife, what do we think Robin needs for Christmas, Kody, any of the kids? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to put it in a video. It'll be out. Usually it's out a little bit closer to Christmas, but I really look forward to seeing your guys' creative ideas for gifts. So yeah, leave those down below. And if you haven't already, click like and subscribe, and I hope you'll come back to Happily Ever Reality.